Hi, I'm Christian and welcome to Crypto Ripto. In today's rundown, we're going to be going over the Bitcoin price chart. Where is the Bitcoin price now and how we see it going into the weekend? We're also going to be going over the crypto news headlines and what's happening in the crypto space. But before I do all that magic, it's important for me to say that none of what you see in this video today is financial advice. I am no financial advisor and I don't pretend to be a financial advisor. But what we are doing in this video is for your educational purposes. And this bad boy here is here to educate. So if you want to know about the Bitcoin price and what's happening in the crypto news space, stay tuned and let's go. So let's have a look at the chart and see what's happening with the Bitcoin price. Well, it's no surprise, as you can see here, Bitcoin's still trading in this channel between 31,000 and 41,000. It took a massive rejection here at a 200-day moving average and shot down to the downside and bounced off this support of 32,000 here roughly that we put in yesterday. Now, the reason it put a bounce here is because I'm going to show you an indicator at the moment that showed you a lot of volume came in around about just underneath the 32,000. So if we just have a look at what volume came in here, from here to here where it shot up, you can see a lot of volume came in around this kind of new support area here. So that means people are looking to buy Bitcoin around about these areas now because they don't believe it's going to drop down, well, they didn't at this time, to retest this 31,000 mark. And the bulls are finding a little bit of momentum, although the volume's not there. They're finding a little bit of momentum to keep Bitcoin producing higher highs and higher lows. Now, this can be a sign that the Bitcoin price is actually starting to steady out a little bit. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to show you here is that we had this massive hit rejection straight from 41,000 and it was a one-way slope down to hell, right? And we literally fell all the way down and touched the lowest point that we could touch with high volume. So they rode that trend down like a train at a theme park. Then we took a bounce and the bulls momentum come in and rejected at the 50-day moving average and retested the 31,000 price mark. And then the bulls gained a lot of momentum. And this is where price action tended to turn. We got medium or kind of highish volume here, and we shot to the upside and got rejected on this fake out that if you remember, we were drawing this descending triangle way back from like yesterday. If you remember, we took it out, but we had this descending triangle here. Oh, not that descending triangle, because that would just be stupid. So bear with me 1 second, we'll get this indicator straight in. We were looking at doing something like that where we've had one or two fake outs here. Now, we believe this to be a nice breakout for Bitcoin, and we was hoping it was going to be on the upside. But obviously we got rejected at the 200-day moving average and we fell back into this kind of like descending wedge. But what's important about this, and this is why I said today we're going to put a few technical indicators in there, is because Bitcoin bounced off this descending wedges support and has traded still for me in this channel. So although it came back down off the rejection here from the 200-day moving average, it's only gone back into this wedge and it took a rejection at the support. And now we're climbing back up to the upside to do another breakout, a final breakout of this descending wedge. Now, as you know, this wedge has been invalidated once, twice. So surely if we get a breakout to the upside, this should mean momentum for Bitcoin. But as we know at the weekend, the volume and volatility of price action can be really dramatic, and it can be the wild west of crypto. So this is leaving the question, where do we see the price going into the weekend? Well, historically, weekend don't have a lot of volume. And if we just have a quick look at what the price action is saying and what people are looking into here, bear with 1 second. You could say Bitcoin could break out a little bit here and get rejected again off this 50-day moving average, and then just fall into the downside and bounce off here. But what am I thinking for Bitcoin? I'm seeing more sideways action. I don't think, especially over this kind of weekend, with only retail money in there, none of the smart money there, that we're going to see anything major. Now, it did happen once when Bitcoin on Sunday had a pump and it had a rally to the upside, and we did touch this kind of support area here. But if we have a look at the volume coming in and what the volume indicator is saying here, just to this support line, you can see there's not much volume ever since people bought Bitcoin at this kind of support level here. And there's also a CME gap, which I've not charted here, but there is also a CME gap that's still open. So I know no one likes looking at this Bitcoin price chart and saying, well, it could go up or it could go down. But what am I expecting for Bitcoin is a little bit of pump to the upside, because if you see Bitcoin taking momentum here out of this wedge, out of this descending wedge here, we can see Bitcoin taking a little bit of bullish momentum here. It's just got to break over this instance of the 50-day moving average, and we could be testing again around about the 35k. But as I've always said with Bitcoin, and sorry, before that, we're also looking at the low areas. We've got a green hit here, which is indicated this marker here, and it means that the bulls are back in town and they're trying to take charge, which we've not seen since all the way back on the 27th with a big price action indicator, where everything was oversold and momentum was just steadying along. So this is a good sign for Bitcoin going into the weekend. But as everyone says, and everyone's always talking about being cautious and conservative, etc., etc., we know that Bitcoin could always roll over, and we can see a pump to the downside. But for me, I think Bitcoin is looking to put in these higher highs and higher lows. And this is an all-important time for Bitcoin. Now, we can look historically about what Bitcoin's done, etc., etc., but historic levels have never seen Bitcoin at this boring. No one's ever talked about the Wyckoff method and how Wyckoff manipulated the market all the way back in the 2017 bull run charts, or prior to that in the 2013. But people emphasize on the Wyckoff scenario quite a lot now. But they're also, the people that are talking about the Wyckoff are also looking at previous charts and what Bitcoin did in 2013 and what Bitcoin did in 2017. So is it you didn't know about Wyckoff in them 2 previous years, or are you just sort of clutching at what happened in the past and trying to relevant to the future? Because for me, as a smart trader, I only look at what's volume now, and Wyckoff's playing out now because the smart money's in. And if you think about 2017 bull run, we had a lot more FUD and FOMO. Every day, everything was getting banned. People that were around in 2017 would have known that the negative news in crypto was, for me, twice as bad as this. The only thing that wasn't, there was no one tweeting as much manipulation now, and the smart money wasn't manipulating it into a Wyckoff pattern. So that's why I think now, more than ever, the way of trading in the, as I say, the volume spread analysis, or trading in the shadows of the smart money, is more important than ever. And this is why I come to these conclusions, where at the moment Bitcoin's being fairly predictable in this channel. Once we break out of this channel either to the upside or downside, that's when your work is cut out with Bitcoin. That's when Bitcoin becomes unpredictable. Because if we reclaim this level here, could it be a fake out or a bear trap that we shoot up for people just to reclaim as much money as we can? Or is Bitcoin going to start going to higher highs and the institutions start backing Bitcoin and start having more momentum? But one thing I will say is, and we'll see it in the news now, is it's that kind of season again where Bitcoin's being boring. It's putting in higher highs and higher lows on the 4 hour. and also on the daily. And that's started to prompt, a lot of the bad news coming out. So if you start looking on Cointelegraph, CoinMarketCap, and other, just Google crypto news, you'll see they're starting to put the fear out again. They're starting to put in, analysts are saying Bitcoin's dropping, UK's banning Binance, hash rates down. There's all sorts of bad news coming out to make people still harm or in that extreme fear. So if we go to the fear and greed index here, you'll see there's a lot of people still, I think it was around about, sorry, I didn't even click that. I think it was around, 21. So the fear, so that's really low. Yesterday, the fear was at 28, and we're starting to see a bit of lighter colour and moving out into the kind of neutral territory. We're kind of pitching our tent going into neutral territory. But have a guess what happened today. Go check it out on the Google socials and news. The bad news started to come out. People started to put back into, the lower end of the extreme fear. Which to me is crazy, because, it's not, the stuff that's being said is not any different to what was said in 2017 that didn't happen, and what was said in every time that crypto comes out or it has this bull run. You've got to think, people have been putting their money into the investments over the last 4 years or whatever, and taking that away from the key areas of right. So if you're investing in crypto, you're not investing in stocks and shares, you're not investing in that fiat. And fiat and the banks need you more than ever now. They need you to pump that economy and throw all your money deflationary because of what's happened with the coronavirus, with the government's printing money left, right and centre. They need your cash left, right and centre. So for you to start thinking Bitcoin's going up and we're putting money into Bitcoin and crypto start taking the momentum, it's taking the money away from these institutions that want your fiat money to not institutions, the governments and stuff like that want your money to kickstart the economy back from their mistakes and overspending, overprinting and over leveraging. But that's not happening, because obviously as investors, they don't care what people want. We care about what's sound investment, and what we see is future proof and has got good stability for the future, and that is cryptocurrency. So for that angle, I wouldn't be very fearful. But in the Bitcoin price chart, you can see that for now, we're going to be boring still. In the weekend, it's going to be so hard to trade because there's going to be hardly any volume. There's not really that much momentum. Bitcoin, I'll be very surprised if Bitcoin even gets anywhere near the 41,000 mark with two key resistance levels. We've got to break through the 50-day moving average. We've got to break through support, mini support 1, then we've got to break through key support, resistance number 2, and then retest all the way up here. So you've got like the monthly, and then you've got the weekly, and then you've got the daily. So if you went monthly, you went weekly, you went daily, just to give yourself a bit of a guidance of where the kind of crypto's bouncing and stuff like that. So for me, it'd need a strong pump out. So this, for the upside, it'd need a strong pump out, a retest of this, and then on to the upside. Or it would need a dip to the downside, retest, and then more momentum. But what do you think is going to happen? For me, I think history is going to repeat itself. I think Bitcoin's going to break out. It's going to go up a little bit, retest, and then we're going to see a bit more to the downside. We're not going to, in my opinion, definitely over the weekend, we're not going to break this D line. But we are going to see maybe a little fake out and Bitcoin break to the downside and continue sideways. But let me know in the comments what you think. But also, let me take this opportunity to ask everyone to please slap a like, press that subscribe button and tickle that bell. I asked everyone if they wanted basic, no BS analysis of what Bitcoin could do and what Bitcoin is doing at the moment, or did you want a lot of technical analysis to try and predict with the Fibonacci levels, the patterns that probably don't mean anything at the moment because the manipulation's still there? And a lot of you overwhelmingly said that you wanted no BS, basic analysis that you understand, that you can give yourself a little head start with. So that's what we've done today on Crypto Ripto. But again, let me know in the comments if this is educational or informative for you. And if you, of course, want Ethereum's price analysis, because we don't do much Ethereum on here, because Ethereum, again, is being quite erratic. But as always, it's doing exactly what Bitcoin's doing and trading in this channel. If you've been watching this channel for a little while, and remember, we put these in a little while ago, and we had the little fake out down, and Ethereum took a massive pump up, got a downward spiral, hit up there, got rejected, and now is come down and is really using this 50-day moving average now as a kind of a support. So we could see a little bit of upside of Ethereum to retest this all important 2,200 level. So keep your eye on Ethereum, because that could be looking at more bullish, because again, it is closing in higher highs and higher lows, the same as Bitcoin. So now we're going to jump to the news quickly, and I'm just going to go over the headlines to let you know what's happening in the crypto space. And as you would imagine, it's not all bad news. We've got here, Bitcoin will go all the way to 166,000 this year. Say Celsius CAO. So, I mean, that's a big statement. That's a big statement. Also, Ethereum Classic devs announced up and coming hard fork. Well, we knew that. We've already covered that on this channel. This one's all important. Key Bitcoin price indicator flashes for the 5th time a buy signal that Bitcoin's going to be bullish. Now, if you don't know what that is, it flashes indicators a bit like, if we just go back to Bitcoin, a bit like these indicators here, when it says there's a bullish momentum and Bitcoin's in a buying opportunity. Sorry. Lastly, Elon Musk's latest attempt to pump Dogecoin has failed miserably. Now, people are not happy about this, because he's obviously gone on, tried to pump Dogecoin a little bit, but people are not listening. Sorry, I need a drink now. His tweets have not got momentum, not got as much weight as they used to have. So people are not really listening to him as much as they did in the beginning, because obviously he was fresh and hyper. He's a clever guy with a lot of money. People wanted to believe in what he was saying. And also trading bots were set up to trade off his news, which I think don't happen anymore. And then we've got Ethereum Classic price has nearly doubled days after digital currency grew its 50 million bet. Now, I'm not a big fan of Ethereum Classic. I don't really know much about it, that's why. So I don't really trade it. I don't really do much about it. But that's the headline to this, the news at the moment. A lot of people are still bullish on Bitcoin, apart from the people that do the institutional news that say Bitcoin hedge funds pause crypto arbitrage amid market meltdown or downturn. Then you've got this kind of news where Bitcoin bounces at a key range amid hopes that the Bitcoin price avoid the big nuke. And what's really happening with El Salvador's Bitcoin law? Is it really been put into place? Or experts answer about how they can sort of decipher it and what they can do and go through it, kind of thing. Whereas last month is, I don't know what to think of this El Salvador news. It's really good for the crypto industry and the crypto thing, but I just don't think it has weight enough to change the Bitcoin price. For me, and you hear it on this channel, and I say it on this channel quite a lot, the thing that's going to make Bitcoin price really start getting momentum is the energy tokens get past and Bitcoin starts going 56% more green, and then the institutions get the tick, get the appetite, and start flowing that money in, because that's what starts changing the news, changing the euphoric kind of excitement in crypto, because that's what crypto is missing at the moment, the excitement. Because at the moment, crypto is boring. Sorry to say, it is boring. And Bitcoin's trading sideways in this channel, but finding new supports around here where the volume's coming in. But Bitcoin is still risky to trade at the moment. Unless you're a professional trader and you want to start going long at the supports and short at the resistances to do a bit of scalp trading, but it is very risky. For me, I'd probably wait till we see a good bounce or where Bitcoin starts finding its next support, because if this is Bitcoin's new support, we will retest it again, but on the next bounce we'll bounce up with higher volume, and we'll do the technical analysis on this channel as we always do, and you'll see that where the higher volume is, because I've got this Wyckoff volume spread analysis on to show you when the high volumes coming in. We can't just have a green and red chart, because that don't show waffle. We need to know when the smart money volume's coming in. And obviously the smart money volume came in when Bitcoin went all the way down to their manipulated price. So you're starting to see the trend here, but it's not been in ever since, because they're waiting for another entry point and where Bitcoin finds its new bottom. And if Bitcoin is putting in these higher highs and higher lows and is confirming this as a breakout. They were too smart to fall for this breakout, because obviously they wanted to wait for the retest, as we said on this channel. The retest never came because it dropped below and it's bounced here. So the volume was never there. So I hope that's been educational for you, as we say on this channel. And hope you're more informative about the Bitcoin price and where it's going into the weekend. As you can see here on the Bitcoin daily, it's taking a nice bounce off this kind of support level here. So if it bounces here, it could trade back up to 35,000 over the weekend, but just keep your eye on it. So I hope you find all that interesting and it's helped you out, and it's put you at a bit more of a mindset of how you're going to buy, trade or watch Bitcoin over the weekend. Always, as I say at the end of the video, there is timestamps at the bottom here for your viewing pleasure. If you wish to jump to any part of this, we will break it up from intros, Bitcoin and news. But as always, trade smart, trade safe, and don't get